Hello YouTubers, it's Championdjk coming at you again with another weekly video. I'm a little under the weather, so I apologize about the raspiness in the voice, and I'll probably be clearing my throat a bunch and all that jazz. But anyway, this week I got a bunch of cool stuff, or a few cool items that I'm going to share with you, and we'll see how this goes here with my voice. Alright, one thing that happened right off the bat, I found a super in the wild. I found a super in a dump bin, like in the bottom of a dump bin. So this card on this Volkswagen T2 is completely wrecked. So this is the one super I really wanted this year for sure, and I already do have one, but I might keep this one as well anyway. The card is trashed, and it kind of almost looks like a lighter shade of brown than the super that I have, so I'm tempted to just keep this. I think either way, I don't know if I should open it in the second segment or not. I don't know. I guess stay tuned to find out. I'll decide in a moment. Picked up a regular as well, of course. So yeah, dump in super treasure hunt find at a Walmart. That's pretty cool because I haven't found a super in quite a while. Out in a store. So I found some green machines like last week or whatever it was, and then I found a super this week. So alright, I found 3 chases so far this year, so that's pretty cool. Alright, next up I got some mail. I got 3 Tomica premium cars that we're going to take a look at. One is this Nissan Skyline HT 2000 Turbo RS, which has been out for quite some time. However, I just never got it when it came out. It's got opening doors and stuff. We're going to take a look at that in the second segment. This is another one that's been out for a while, this Nissan Fairlady Z300ZX Twin Turbo, which I'm a huge fan of this actual car. The cool thing is that Hot Wheels did just release a mainline of this vehicle. I do not have it yet to compare it to this, but we will be opening up this. It's yellow. This car has been out for quite some time. However, I just didn't pick it up until now. And then this one is pretty new. This is the Nissan Fairlady Z in blue, and that is pretty sweet. I don't know the significance of this blue color car. It said it's like the Devil Z or something like that. I really don't know what that means. It's probably some anime something. I don't know. Don't be offended if I'm completely off. Alright, so there's that. Oh, a couple more things in store. I did locate some newer Matchbox. We got this Civic here. I don't know what case code this is. This Unimog, I thought was pretty cool. Hot Wheels just kind of released them Unimog too, so that's kind of interesting that they both did that. This what is this? Ford Explorer. It is a San Diego Police Ford Explorer. A 2018 Ford Mustang Convertible. Right there. We'll open up all these in the second segment, by the way. And then this 65 Land Rover Gen 2, which is kind of neat. It doesn't have an interior. We'll take a look at it in the second segment. It's got actually a variation in its little roof rack cargo area, so that's kind of neat. I don't know, you're probably not going to be able to see it too much at this angle because they both just look pretty much the same, but I will show you that in the second segment of the video. Let's see, and then I got another find off eBay. I picked up this lot of cars. I put in an offer on it and it got accepted. This is Greenlight Motorworld. This is Series 3, and we got the Pontiac Firebird Trans Am in yellow. We got this Ford Mustang. These are Greenlight toolings I did not have, which these are, I think, originally high-speed toolings. This Oldsmobile 442. This car I actually have coming from Heavy Metal 164, so I'm not going to open this one in the second segment. So I'll be showing it in a different video. Having at least, I don't know what I'm going to do with that carded one. And then I got Chevy Corvette in black. So we'll take a look at those 3 in the second segment of the video. And then from another seller, I got some Firebirds and a Ford GT. So I got this this red Ford GT sold loose, Johnny Lightning. This is a Ford GT that I needed for my Johnny Lightning Ford GT collection, which is getting there, definitely getting there. I don't really care about the white Lightnings, of course, just want all the regular versions. And this red one is one that I did not have, so I'm happy to get it. And then speaking of other castings I collect, Greenlight. Oh, this one still has a little wire on it. Yeah. All right. So this came in a 2-pack. This is a 1979 Trans Am from Greenlight with a Catoosa County Sheriff Livery. It's a really cool one, and we'll take a look at that in the second segment. This came with a 2-pack. I'm trying to think of what the car was that was in the 2-pack. And essentially, it was, I guess, supposed to be a car that would be chased by this car to get pulled over. And then another Trans Am, 1980 Trans Am. This is from an earlier Greenlight Muscle series in gold. This is another one I didn't have. Both of these are in mint condition, loose. So they must have been recently pulled out of the package. And they look great. I'm glad to add them to my Greenlight collection. They also don't suffer. Neither of these two suffer from that lean that this casting can have, or the base is put on uneven. So that is pretty cool. All right, and then I got 3 Johnny Lightning Firebirds. We got this 1972 Pontiac Firebird from Johnny Lightning Firebird Release 3. And then this one I think is also from Release 3. This is 1973 Pontiac Firebird Formula. These two, I believe this was a Toys R Us exclusive release. This Johnny Lightning Firebird Release 3, I think it only came out in Toys R Us, so cool to get those two. Obviously, I want all of them from the series. I don't know what I have and what I don't have from the series. However, I do keep track of what I have and what I don't have for this casting, because it is a casting that I collect and I want to try to get every single variation of. So there's that. And then this 73 Pontiac Firebird Formula 400 from the Those 70s Cars series from Johnny Lightning. So this one right here. So picked that one up. So what do we got here? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Like 18 cars to look at. I was debating on whether or not I want to just stick these in a 10-car Tuesday for Johnny Lightning. And I might do that. So, I don't know. We'll see if I open these up or not in the second segment. Again, you'll just have to stay tuned to find out. Is this going to be a short video? Nah, probably not. Alright. So, thank you guys. Again, I apologize about the voice. We'll go ahead and flip the camera around as we always do. And we'll take a look at some of this cool stuff. Okay, so let's get right to it here. While I still have a voice, we've got the Johnny Lightning Ford GT. I don't remember what series this is from. I apologize about that. But I do really enjoy any Ford GT tooling casting from any diecast manufacturer. And this one from Johnny Lightning is a nice one. I do definitely like it. And, you know, obviously I'm trying to collect every variation of it that's out. So, obviously I like it. So this is really cool. This one in red with white stripes. This was an actual color that this vehicle was available in. This right here, and the Johnny Lightning does kind of hold its own. And it's not, I don't think it's that far off from 1/64 scale. This car that you're looking at right here is an auto art. I just took some pretty sweet pictures of this, and I did post it to my Instagram and also to some Facebook groups. But this car, these two cars basically are the same car. And this one is actually true, I believe, true to 1/64 scale. This auto art, it is a very nice, beautiful piece, and just a really good one to have in any collection, and I think they're fairly inexpensive on eBay. It comes in this red color. It also comes in a yellow. I'm not sure if it comes in any other colors, but I am kind of tempted to try to get all of them because this is just a really fantastically done casting, and I have shown in the other one there's actual lens detail where you can see the headlights in there. That is really, really sweet. But the Johnny Lightning, I don't think is bad. I mean, they actually do a really good job on this. This thing always pretty much comes with that detail on the back there in the motor, which is good. It's got tampoed headlights, of course. Nothing lensed on this one, but I think they did a pretty good job. I'm not a huge fan of these plastic wheels in particular. Some Johnny Lightning plastic wheels look pretty decent. These particular rims and tires, I've never been a big fan of them on any Johnny Lightning. I don't know. I just think they kind of look cheap. But either way, this car looks great. It's going to join my Johnny Lightning Ford GT collection, which is growing and getting closer and closer to being complete. So pretty cool. All right, so there is that one. And then next thing we're going to take a look at is, let's do these Tomica premium cars. I think we're actually going to, I don't know if I'm going to do those Johnny Lightning Firebirds or not, but let's save this one for a minute. We're going to do them kind of in order from oldest to newest. This one is the Nissan Skyline HT 2000 Turbo RS, number 20. I'm not sure what year this came out in. These are not true 1/64 scale. This is actually 1/63 scale, but they do print the scale on them. This car's been out for a while, so you may have seen it maybe in someone else's video or seen it on Instagram, but it is a pretty nice one. And I'm kind of getting, I like the Tomica premium stuff. It's kind of an interesting, it's got its own kind of, I don't know how to say this, it just has its own thing going on. In the premium line, generally you're going to get a plastic base, you're going to get a metal body, you're going to get like prototypical wheels, but they're going to be plastic usually. Most often they're plastic anyway. And actually I think almost all the time they're plastic. So they're good rollers, but they are heavy. They got a substantial weight to them, even though they do have a plastic base. And I don't think all of them have plastic bases. I could be wrong. A lot of times and often they do have a moving part. So this one has opening doors, and usually they're also very, very detailed. They have lens detail up front, some insert detail for headlights and taillights, but they're a premium line, but they're still kind of made like a toy, which is kind of cool actually. They're just a little different. I mean, they got a lot of premium features, but they're still kind of made like a toy. And I would guess that these would be super fast downhill racing. I'm not going to try it, obviously, but I just think they're really they're cool. They just got their own thing going on, and I think it's pretty awesome. So lots of detail. It is a really cool detailed car, and just an excellent one to join a collection. Also, they're a lot cheaper than Tomica Limited Vintage, so that makes them accessible, and I don't think they're nearly as limited or rare, so that also makes them somewhat more accessible. I think they're pretty awesome though. Not all of the toolings are great, and I'm not like going to go after every single one, but there are quite the ones that I have. I have not been disappointed with any of them. All right, next is this one here, the Nissan Fairlady Z300ZX twin turbo. So the Nissan 300ZX. Quick look at the box. What scale is this one in? Does it tell us? This one may not say. Usually they say for sure on them. Oh, there it is, 1/60th scale. So this is actually a little bit large for what the actual car is. But I would guess that this is probably the size of the Hot Wheels car that we're going to see. And it is really nice. Again, I'm not a huge fan of yellow cars. Not a big fan of them, but I believe that is the only color that this has been released in is yellow. But again, we get lensed detail up front. We get like lensed inserts in the back for the tail. A lot of detail in this. You get suspension. It does have a plastic base. It does have plastic wheels. It rolls fantastically. The interior is detailed as well with different colored seats. And it just, I mean, it looks really good. Definitely can't argue with it. I don't think this one has any moving feature aside from the suspension. Yeah, I don't see any moving features. So no opening doors, nothing like that. Just a really cool, pretty accurate representation of this car. Obviously, it's a little big if it's 1/60th scale, but it does look good, and I like this car. In real life, I always liked the way this car looked. So I'm glad to add it to my Tomica Premium Collection. You notice these are all Nissans. All right, so this next one, this Nissan Fairlady Z. Shout out to Hot Customs. I saw him show this actually on his channel. I wasn't sure if I was going to get this car, but once he showed it, I really wanted to get it. So, and here, that is. We're going to see something similar released in a Hot Wheels line. Oh, what scale is this in? This is, where does it say? 1/58 scale, so this is large as well. But we're going to see that Hot Wheels Selections car is going to look somewhat similar to this in color and everything. But she is a beaut, this Fairlady Z. Again, same deal. It's got a lot of weight to it, but it does have a plastic base. It's riveted. It does have metal body. It's got plastic wheels. It's got the lensed detail in the back. Very well detailed. It's got lens detail up front. And this one's hood opens. See if I can get it open. It opens the correct way. There we go. And it's got some detail in the motor. The motor is not a separate piece. It is cast into the body. The hood is metal, and then it looks what looks like plastic. So I bet you you could pull this hood right off if you wanted to, which is actually nice because it's probably hard to break. You can pull it off, you can put it back on without breaking it. And see, these things are durable, and they have play value for as detailed as they are. Which is just something that is, I don't know, to me, kind of cool. They're just not very delicate, which I like that about these cars. So definitely Tomica Premium. I think they're cool. I would recommend picking up a couple. They're just something different. They're an import. They're different than Kyosho. They're different than, you know, Tomica Limited Vintage. They're different than Auto Art, any other of those, Tarmac Works, all that stuff. They have like their own kind of thing going on, and I like what it is. So very, very cool. So those are 3 Tomica Premium releases. Next up, let's take a look at these 2 Greenlight Firebirds. Here's this one here, the Sheriff Catoosa County. I don't know where that is. So this one does have an opening hood, but I'm not going to bother to open it. I am actually just going to leave it shut because I just don't want to risk anything. And I said these things didn't have a lean. Well, I sort of lied, because this one does have a bit of a lean. This casting is known for that, okay? So, like, very often you will get this car and it will be leaning to one side. So it's got like a lower stance on this side than it does on this side. The base just does not go on properly on this tooling almost ever. I don't know what that is, but I guess I've just learned to live with it. I still want to collect all of these. Again, I don't need the green machines of all of these, but I would love to have examples of everyone that Greenlight put out. And I'm doing pretty good at that. There's going to be a couple of hard ones, like the Rocky one. That one's going to be real difficult. That regular car is expensive, so I'm going to have to get lucky with that one because I'm not paying the premium price for it. But I like this one. It looks good, aside from that lean. And then we got one that's a little bit older in Greenlight history. I think this is actually like the second overall release of this tooling in this gold color, and it looks really nice. It doesn't have the leaning base as far as this way goes, but it does. It's got like a heavy back, and then like the top is raised up a little bit, so it's not on right that way. Don't know what the deal is with that Greenlight. Why? I don't know. It doesn't seem like the stance is ever correct on these Trans Ams. At least I have very few where I could say, yeah, it's on there perfect. I don't even know actually if I really have any. But this still looks great. It's still very nice. I still quite like it. I'm still glad to add it to my collection and check another one off the list. And this is done very, very well. It's got the reflective red paint in the back, which looks great. It's just a good looking car. Good looking gold. I like the rims. I think they look awesome. So I think pretty cool for sure. All right, so those are the two of those. Should we do this? Should I just do this? Should I just open this up? Let me show you how bad this card is, okay? And I've kind of like flattened it out and corrected it a little bit. There's a rip in it right here. There is a solid crease that goes all the way up to here. It's got like every problem imaginable with the card. There's another view of that crease. So it's in rough shape. So probably just gonna, it's just as good loose. So we're gonna go ahead and open it. Even though I already have one of these. But there you have it. So there it is loose. I know I've already shown it on the channel. But here it is again. And let's take a look at the one I had. Alright, so you're probably not going to be able to really see that on camera. I highly doubt you're going to be able to. But one of these definitely looks different than the other. This one definitely got a lot of too much paint on it almost. It's like darker. You can see where it kind of pulled up in places. It's a lot darker than this one. You're probably not going to be able to see that on camera. I know just looking at what I'm looking at right here, I can barely see it. And I can see it in person, but I can't really see it other than that. The other neat thing about this casting, and I never mentioned it when I first did a video on it, these wheels, these rims move in and out to make either like a deep dish rim. I'm trying to do this. It's kind of difficult to do. I just slide it like that, so it makes like a deep dish rim like that, or you can make it flush. So I guess now I can display this car both ways. I can display it with the rims flush on one casting, and I can display it with them in like deep dish mode with the other one. So whatever, pretty cool. I don't know if I'll end up keeping both of these in the long run. I may just keep one of them. But always cool to find a Super in the wild. Wish I would have found one on a really good card, because if I would have given it to my buddy Suresh, because I owe him big time, and he's such a cool guy, and he needs one of these. Doesn't have one yet, so I was really hoping to find him one, but it was on a trash card, and he's a carded collector, so a loose one doesn't really do him any good. All right, so there's that. So we got a Super out of the way. We opened it up. All right, so next up, we're going to take a look at this Pontiac Trans Am. We're going to take a look at these Motorworld cars, and these Motorworld cars are pretty cool. This is an early Greenlight casting. I don't know how many variations of this this particular Firebird came out, but I don't think very many. It was only in the Motorworld lineup. It doesn't have a Greenlight tooling number, as far as I know, but it is a Greenlight tooling, and this is an older one, so the wheels on it are actually plastic. It's got a plastic base, plastic wheels. So that's kind of interesting. The stance of this car is kind of off. It is not the best version of this generation of Trans Am. But it is pretty cool. Wheels squeak and stuff. So it's cool to get it though, because again, the way I'm collecting Greenlight, and I've mentioned it several times, but I might as well mention it again, I'm trying to get an example of every tooling, minus the like trailer tooling. So every 1/64 scale ish tooling that they've got, I'm trying to get an example of every one. I just don't need an example of every one of those trailers. I'm just not a trailer collector. I'm not even picking up like newer hitch and tow or any of that stuff. I just don't really care for having a bunch of trailers. They're just difficult to display. Having one here and there is pretty cool, but definitely not going to try to get all of those. So there it is. And this like whole paint scheme with these little like lines, these black lines and stuff, this is this was an available factory option, I believe. So there that is. It's 90s stuff for you, late 90s. All right, so there's that one. And then we're going to take a look at this Mustang. Ford Mustang tooling. Again, I don't know how many of this tooling they ever actually used. This one actually has rubber tires. So it's in the same series, and it's got rubber tires. It's actually not that bad of a little tooling here. Here's a look at the base. So early Motorworld stuff was all like original high-speed castings, which is the brand of diecast I'm not too familiar with. This one's actually got a fair amount of weight to it. And then again, yeah, it's got those rubber tires. This actually feels like a pretty solid little car. Painted details. I don't think they do the Motorworld line anymore. I'm pretty sure they don't do those anymore. The only time you're going to see Motorworld cars, I believe, is in dioramas, and I don't know if they even really release those anymore either. So kind of phased them out. So just cool though to get an example of this Mustang. It's not the most exciting Mustang in the world, but still kind of a neat one. I don't know if this top, you can't pull it off. I was going to see if you could pull it off and it'd be a convertible, but you cannot. So, because the windshield and the back window are one piece. And actually, I think this whole thing is one piece up here. All right, so there's that one. Pretty cool. And then this Chevy Corvette in black. It's number 57. It's got like a little racing livery going on to it. It's kind of cool. Let's see, will this one have rubber tires? This one does have rubber tires. But again, similar construction. You got metal body, you got plastic base, rubber tires, and looks pretty good. Probably not going to see too much detail in this. It's black. Actually, I mean, it feels pretty good. Again, I don't think there's very many variations of this that were ever put out either. I think this is more of an early Motorworld. There's some early Motorworld cars that are particularly difficult to get. Travis, Heavy Metal 164, will be sending me a couple of those that I am missing, which is great that I can check them off the list. And then there's a Lambo that I really need. I forget what the one it is, what Lambo it was. I got the Gallardo, but there was what was it? I think it was only released once. I'm sorry, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I don't have it. I think there's one on Wheel Collectors and like on eBay, and they're asking like a ridiculous amount of money for it. But someday I think I'll find it, and I'll probably find it cheap. Again, patience pays off in this diecast game for sure. If you don't need everything right away, usually you're able to get whatever you want. All right, so I think lastly what we're going to do actually is take a look at these Matchbox cars, and I think I'm going to save those Firebirds, those Johnnies, for a future 10-car Tuesday, because we're already at 20 minutes here, and in the second half. And so starting with this, we got the 2017 Honda Civic hatchback in red. It's a nice looking little car. I'm really losing track of... I also found that Ford Bronco, but I'm pretty sure that was in this case, and I think I already showed it in a video, so I didn't open up another one of those. It's kind of difficult. I start to lose track of what actually I put in these videos. I'm not going to backtrack and look, so I don't think I had this car. But here it is. It's kind of a boring little civilian model, but it's done right with taillights, headlights. The wheels look okay on it. I mean, for $1 car, again, Matchbox probably is still the best value for $1. I mean, unless you find a super treasure hunt, of course, from Hot Wheels. This is pretty sweet. I mean, it's just a nice looking representation of the vehicle. So good job, Matchbox, on that one. Next up is the Unimog, Mercedes-Benz Unimog. This thing is pretty cool too. Get it out of the package. This one we don't get detail on the front or back. We get the detail on the sides. I think that's pretty awesome. I think that is really cool, actually. I think this is a new tooling, right? It's a copyright date. Oh, no. This one's been around for a while. Copyright date is 2006. So, by the way, if you ever want to know how old a tooling is, for you guys that are just getting into diecast collecting, if you want to know, when you look at the date on the bottom, it is a copyright date. So it is the date that they got the copyright to do the tooling. So in general, usually the first release of the car is the year after the copyright date. At least it's what it typically is, because it takes about a year from like licensing, I'm guessing, to get to actual production. Sometimes it takes a little longer, but and sometimes it might be a little shorter too. But so this one's been out for a while, at least since 2007 likely. It's got a little trailer hitch on the back. It's pretty cool. Now it doesn't say, like, they could have made an alteration to this tooling since it came out that year. That, you know, you wouldn't know, because they wouldn't, if they didn't retool the base. It's still gonna have that copyright date, and even if they did retool the base, it might even still have the same copyright date. So here's this 2012 Ford Explorer, San Diego Police. Looks all right. It's a little bit lifted. So this one, copyright date 2012, which would make sense because it is a 2012 vehicle. It's a nice looking police vehicle. I don't generally collect police vehicles, but I just collect mainline Matchbox that I think looks good. Most of the licensed models I pick up, so I grabbed this one. And then we'll follow that up with this guy right here. This is the 2018 Ford Mustang Convertible. Pretty nice color, yellow. So this is a nice example of a mainline Matchbox car where we got no tampos on the side, we get headlights, and we get taillights. And it looks pretty darn good. I will say the tooling looks, I think, a little more boxy, dare I say, than the real car. I just think something about that front end looks a little off to me. It just looks almost too squared off. I believe that I don't know. Maybe it is like that. I think it's rounded, more rounded though in real life. So this one, 2018 Ford Mustang Convertible. So obviously this one's copyright date 2018, and I think we actually saw it in its first color in 2018. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm confusing it with the Camaro, because they did come out with the Camaro Convertible that looks quite similar. But, oh, and one car I totally forgot to pick up. I had it in my hands. I had two of them. I was going to look at them and see which one I liked better. It was the Dodge, I think it was a Dodge Charger that was in this case. That was green, and I totally left it behind on accident. So I'll have to pick up one of those when I see that again. All right. And then next up is the 65 Land Rover Gen 2. I'm going to go ahead and open up both of these. Now, I believe this is a new tooling. Copyright date on the bottom is 2018. So we'll open up that one, and then we'll open up the other one. So both of these are the same color. They just have a subtle variation, which, as we know, Matchbox likes to do that. They do it quite often now, where they're going to have a car. I wouldn't say quite often, but at least a few times a year, where they're going to have a vehicle with a slight variation. So you had the Skyline with the variation in the seats, which is just crazy, and the variation of the motor, which you would never even see. But this one's got a variation you can see. There's the top of that one. I don't know what all that stuff is on top there. And then here's the top of this one, where you get chainsaw, some wood, looks like, I don't know, maybe a sleeping bag or something, some lights. So that's pretty cool. And now that I'm looking at this, is it the same top? Yeah, that's interesting. So here's a Land Rover Defender. This is actually a custom from Radar 468. There's the top. He painted the top of that. Basically carrying the same stuff there. It's like the same mold for that inner piece right there is that. So that is interesting. But here you go. Land Rover. This thing is a tank. No interior on this one, which is why you get those blacked out windows. So they ditched the interior, and the reason why they probably had to do that was probably because of this extra plastic piece up top. You guys got to understand. I mean, I know people complain about, you know, wow, there's no interior, there's no details, blah, 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 blah. You know, these things are $1, dude. They're $1. Just think about what else you can get for $1. Okay? I mean, it's a good value for money, I think. To pay $1 for these at a store, like, they do the best that they can. So, Matchbox and Hot Wheels both, really. They do. I mean, they have to be making these for like pennies to be able to make any money out of them. When you consider getting them to where they need to go, then pricing them at retail and what they get for them, they're obviously not getting $1 for each car. So if you think about the business aspect of it, and you know, the margin's got to be small, even on something like this where they don't have, you know, doesn't have an interior piece. Well, yeah, they got to cut costs. I mean, they have to keep that $1 price point, which if you think about it is a pretty amazing thing that, at least in the U.S., okay, I'm only speaking for U.S. because I don't, obviously I'm not shopping overseas or anywhere else where these things might be more expensive, but they're $1 in the U.S., okay? They're $1, $1. And that, to me, is a good value. So, and that's why they are what they are. All right, so dollar cars, love them. Just as much as premium cars. Well, maybe not just as much, but I do enjoy them as well. All right, so that's going to be it for this video, guys. Again, I'm sorry, but I'm going to pass those 3 Firebird Johnny Lightnings. Those are going to be pushed into a subsequent video that will be in a 10-car Tuesday eventually in the future here for another Johnny Lightning one. Probably another Johnny Lightning Firebird one, because I think I may have enough now to actually do a 10-car another Johnny Lightning Firebird one, which I've done one in the past, and we'll probably do another one then. All right, so that's going to be it for this video, guys. Again, I got some Matchbox Monday stuff coming up, so, you know, the weekly videos, and, of course, 10-car Tuesdays will always be the staple videos for the channel, and then, of course, we will pepper in other stuff as we go along. So, probably my favorite car of this episode is probably this right here. The Tomica Premium stuff is really nice, though, and I do really like this. Actually, really like this yellow one as well. This Skyline's okay, but definitely these two I think stand out a little bit more than that one. And yeah, that's going to be it for this vid, guys. So thank you again for watching. Thank you very much. Have yourself a great week, and we'll see you in the next one.